Hello, hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome. Happy Wednesday. As always, Cindy and I are popping in to present to you a little training on the simple welcome sequence that warms buyers, guys. But as usual, we're going in to check to see if we are actually live.
That's right, Kels.
Yeah, especially since we've had so many issues lately. And I know I was talking to another coach this morning, and she had said that there's actually lots of people that are having problems with getting their lives to go into their groups. Yep. So it's not just us, which is nice to know, right? Yeah. But let's just see. Do you see us live in the group yet?
I don't, Kels.
You don't?
I do not.
Okay. Okay.
That doesn't mean we're not, but it just means showing.
Yeah, exactly. So let's just hold on a second here while we wait to see if it refreshes.
Yeah.
Of course, on my personal profile, it says that we are live.
Yep.
But, yeah, but not in the group yet. Let's just see. Going back to the group.
No, I don't see anything, but that's okay.
Oh, yeah, I don't see anything either. I don't know. This is so frustrating. So frustrating. So that's okay, guys. What we'll do is we'll continue on with the training, and then we'll come back and we'll tag some of you so you can see this, or maybe send you a copy in the DMs. Okay. So if you are here, if you found us in the ethers of Meta, hi, thanks for being here. We can't see any comments at the moment, but please say hi in the comments.
Yeah.
Let us know where you're tuning in from.
Yep.
Right. We always like to know who we are talking to and where you're from. So yeah, definitely do that. And then I'm just getting this up to see if it does populate here, but I'm still not seeing anything. So
yeah, me neither.
Just welcome to everyone that is here or watching the replay. Okay. Like I said, if you're live, please just say hi in the comments, right? So we know that you're with us.
Yeah.
And remember, we won't be replying until after the live because we can't see anything at the moment. So not sure what is going on with Facebook. Like I said, we were talking to another coach. They're having the problems. As always, Facebook is doing a bunch of upgrades, right, and changes. So that could be what's going on here. So if you guys are doing lives in your Facebook group and you are finding the same thing, just give us like a little wave, a little like, yeah, we're feeling the struggle. The struggle is real, right?
Yeah.
Because it's good to know that you're not the only one that's having these struggles, right, Cindy? Right?
Absolutely. We don't want to feel like we're on an island unto ourselves.
That's right. That's right. So before we get into the teaching today, we want to ask you something really simple.
Yep.
When someone downloads your free thing, right, or joins your email list, do you feel like you have that you are clear on what happens after that, right? So in this group, we're always talking about everything client attraction, guys, right? Now, client attraction isn't just leads, right? It goes far beyond our leads and far before getting the leads, right? And so you have been visible, someone downloaded your thing, but what happens after that? Because the client attraction doesn't stop there, right? So I want you, if you guys are really clear on what your next steps are when you are doing this, just type clear in the comments, right? If it feels kind of fuzzy and you're like, I kind of know what I'm doing, but I don't think it's as clean as it could be, then just write fuzzy. Or maybe you don't have a path at all set up yet, right? So if you don't have a path, just say not yet. We're just trying to feel out the room, see where you guys are at, right? And how we can help you move forward. Okay. So, and remember, there's no shame here, right? We're not in a judgment space. We're in a safe space where you can share and we can help you move to that next best step. Okay. So this is exactly why we're talking about it today, because we want to know and make sure that you have the right follow-up path.
Absolutely. And I love starting there because it tells us where people actually are, Kels.
Mm-hmm.
And today we're talking about simple welcome sequence that warms buyers. But I don't want you to hear that and think, great, another email marketing thing I have to figure out. That is not the point. We're talking about what happens after someone raises her hand.
Yeah.
She's downloaded something, she's clicked, she paid attention, she took a step closer. Now what?
Yeah.
That now what is where a welcome sequence actually starts to matter.
Yes, exactly. Because the goal is not to get people onto your list, right? I mean, that's a good thing, but that's not really the goal. The goal is to help that right person keep moving forward, right? Keep moving in a way that feels clear, human, and what you all, I'm assuming, can resonate with. You don't want to be pushy, right? So you want to make sure that it's human, not pushy. So if your follow-up after someone opts in feels a little fuzzy, this will help you, okay? And we want to start with the moment after someone downloads your free thing, okay? Because that is the part that we do not always think about enough, right? We're like, okay, how do we get them to the thing? But then we don't think about what happens after, right? Like your ideal client saw something from you that really made her pause, right? Maybe it was a post, a live, a story, right? Something that someone else shared, right? And she clicked on it because something about it felt really relevant to her, right? Like she's like, oh yes, I need that. And now she's on your list. Great, right? She's on her list. And that sounds like a win because it is, right?
Absolutely.
But it's also just the beginning of a really important moment, right? It's just the beginning of that really important moment, because now the question is not, how do I get her attention, right? Because you already did, you got her attention. Now the question turns into, how do I take care of the attention in a way that helps her keep moving forward?
Exactly. And that's what a welcome sequence is supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's not just a few emails that you send because someone told you you have a sequence. It's the first part of the buying path after she raises her hand. And the goal is not to pressure her, of course, or overwhelm her or suddenly pitch her out of nowhere. Absolutely not.
No.
The goal is to help her understand why she's here, why the problem matters, and what step might make sense next. And this is where email really becomes useful. It's not a marketing task. So as the piece that keeps the relationship from going from quiet right after someone showed interest.
Yes. Yeah. Email is not the separate thing, right? It's not the separate thing, right? I think email can feel really intimidating because people treat it like it's a separate business personality. Like they have to have, like a different voice for their email, right?
Right.
You're normal on Facebook, you're normal in your group, in conversations, but then suddenly you open up your email platform and you feel like you have to become a polished email marketer, right? Because, as entrepreneurs, we're often wearing many hats, right? And but that's not what we want you to feel like, right? This isn't about becoming an expert, right? That is really where it starts feeling weird, is when you're like, well, this is not what I do. This is right. But the welcome sequence does not need you to sound different. Like you don't need to be a different version of you, right? It should just feel like the natural next conversation after someone said, I want this. And Cindy, we talk about this even for DMs, right?
Absolutely.
How we kind of lose ourselves and kind of forget, okay, how do I communicate, right? So we always bring it back to the reality of, if you were to meet someone off the street, how would you start that conversation? How would you continue that conversation, right? If someone said, hey, I really like your necklace, right? Well, you've grabbed them, you've got their attention. Now, how are you going to move forward with that conversation?
Absolutely. And then when we think about it that way, when you think about it that way, and when we think about the email sequence, it gets a lot more simpler. We're not trying to build a complicated funnel today. We're not trying to build, what we're trying to do is build a small bridge. Someone moved closer. Now we want to help her understand what she just stepped into. And that's the job.
Yeah.
So attention is really not, it's not the same as movement. Facebook is often where the first signal happens.
Yeah.
Kelsey, we talk about that here in this community and also in our Momentum Hub membership with our members as well. So someone sees you enough times that you start feeling familiar. That one post hits the right nerve, or that one live speaks to the thing that she's been trying to figure out, and she takes a step. That step might be downloading your freebie, commenting, replying, or replying to a story. But the first step is not the same as a buyer movement. It is interest, and interest needs to go. So it needs somewhere to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Okay. We got their attention. Now what? Right. So this is the piece that we really want people to hear. Okay. When someone goes quiet after downloading something, it does not always mean that she was never really interested. Right. Most of the time it means that there wasn't a clear enough path to keep her moving through your client journey, through your system, right? She downloaded the thing, maybe skimmed it between client work and dinner, thought, okay, this is useful. And then life keeps going, right? People are busy, right? We're busy, right? They are not sitting around thinking about our business all day, right? As much as we think, oh yeah, everyone knows about us. No, they're not sitting there thinking about us. It's our job, right, to do the follow-up, to have that clear path. So the follow-up matters because it gently brings that thread, that conversation back, right? It says, here is why this matters. Here is what you may be noticing, or here is the next small thing to really think about. And that isn't chasing, right? We want to really normalize that, because that isn't chasing. It's really about educating and helping the right person stay connected to the thing she already said yes to. She already put her hand up, right? She already put her hand up. So we're just helping them move forward. So a quick check-in in the comments. Again, we can't see them, but we'll come back to them. When you think about your welcome sequence, I want you to really think about this. Which part feels the least clear for you, right? Is it the first email where you welcome and orientate them? Is it the middle of the email where you really help them understand the problem? Or is it the last email where you invite a reply or a next step, right? So you guys can just type first, middle, or last to let us know where you're kind of at, because that will help us help you.
And that's useful, guys, because most people do not need to fix everything at once. Usually there's just one part of the path that's making the whole thing feel heavier. And the welcome sequence has one simple job. A welcome sequence does not need to carry the whole sale. That's where people make it really too heavy. They try to make one email to introduce themselves, to teach them something, to try to build trust, explain the offer maybe, or even handle an objection, and then try to get a reply. That's really too much for the email. And honestly, it's too much for the person reading it. And I know it's even too much for me even hearing it right now. So we make it simpler. A strong starting sequence can be 3 emails. The first email helps her feel orientated. The second email helps her understand the problem more clearly. And the third email opens the door to reply or next step.
Absolutely.
That's it.
And that's it, right? And you can have more than 3 emails in your nurture sequence or your welcome sequence, right? But we're just talking about these first 3 really core components of this welcome sequence, right? Because we want to keep it really simple for you. And when you think about it in a simple way, right, it feels less like I have to write the perfect sequence.
Right.
And you start feeling more like I'm helping someone move, right? So that's what you want to think always. How is this moving them through the client journey, right? You're really helping them through those next few thoughts, right? The first email is basically, you are in the right place, guys, right? You're in the right place. Here is what you asked for, and here is why I created it. Right. And then that second email is where you help her see what might actually be happening for them, right? And that's where it's like where it's resonating with them, right? Oh yeah, this is totally me. This is what's happening. Okay, this is what I need to fix, right? And we're not doing this in a dramatic way, right? We're just doing it in a super clear way. Sometimes we try to be really fancy, and we talk about this even in our posts on Facebook and that kind of stuff, right? Or in our messaging, in our opt-ins or our courses, right? We don't need to be dramatic. We don't need to be fancy. We just need to be clear, right? So you might think the issue is that, you need to post more, but the real gap might be that people do not know what to do after they show interest. So this is just really important to keep in mind, right? What is that? How are we explaining things in a clear way? And then the third email gives her the simple next step, right? This isn't a giant decision. This isn't jump into my high ticket program, right? This is just a simple next step. A simple opening, something she can reply to, something maybe she can consider. Maybe it's another free training. Maybe it's joining your Facebook group. Maybe it's just replying, like you said, to the email, right? Something that keeps the conversation alive.
Absolutely. So let's see if we can make this stick a little bit better. Say someone downloads a Facebook visibility resource from you, and the first email should not try to sell your entire offer. It should help her use what she just downloaded. And the second email could help her understand why visibility alone is not always enough.
Yeah.
And maybe she's being seen, but the message or next step is not clear enough yet. And the third email can invite a reply like, which part feels hardest right now? Knowing what to post, knowing what to say after someone engages, or knowing how to move people to the next step. And that's a very different energy than jumping straight into book a call.
Exactly, right? And it gives you better information too, right? Because if she replies and says, honestly, I do not know what to say after someone comments, right? Now you're not guessing. You're not guessing anymore, right? You are responding to a real person with a real answer. Right. So this is how sales start to feel a lot more human, right? Not because you avoided the business part, right? Sometimes we try to avoid it, but because you paid attention before you made the next move, right? You paid attention before you took the next move. So here's a quick exercise for you guys, okay? Think about one place where someone raises her hand in your business, right? Maybe it's a freebie, a live, a group post where someone commented a keyword, something like that, okay? Now imagine just one real person taking that step. Just one real person. Do not think about your audience as a giant group, guys, okay? Think about one woman, one person. She clicked because something felt relevant to her, right? What does she need to feel first? Well, that's email number one, right? What does she need to understand more clearly before your work really makes sense to her, right? And then that is email number two. The first one is, I said that weird. What does she need to feel first? That's email number one, right? What does she need to understand more clearly before your work makes sense? That's email number two. And what is one simple reply or next step that would help you keep the conversation moving? So that is number three, right?
Yep. And believe it or not, that is the whole starting point. You don't need to map out a giant funnel before this actually becomes useful. You need the next three movements to make sense. Orientate her, clarify the problem, invite a reply or next steps. And once you've done that, you have something you can improve. Without that, everything really does stay vague and nebulous.
Yeah. Absolutely. So this matters because a lot of people avoid email because they don't want to feel pushy, right? Or they don't want to, they don't know what to say, right? But a good welcome sequence does not feel pushy, right? It just feels like care, like support, like you're helping them with that next step, right? It feels like, I know you asked for this and I want to help you know what to do with it, right? Because how often is that, Cindy, where we download something, we're like, oh, this is awesome, but what do we do next, right? Like, how do we actually utilize this, right? And again, this is very different energy, right, than trying to convince someone who never raised their hand, right? This is why we're working with our audience. Follow-up is not chasing. When someone already showed interest, right? They already gave us the signal.
Yep.
Yes, this resonates. Yes, I need something like this. This is speaking to me, right? It is helping the right person stay connected to the thing she already said yes to, right?
Yep. And that's the system. And that's the system that supports that. Because without a path, follow-up becomes emotional every time. And I couldn't agree. I got to say that again, because without a path, follow-up becomes emotional every time. You're deciding from scratch, and that's where you get stuck. But when there's a simple sequence, that path that holds some of that weight for you, it gives you a repeatable way to help someone move from interest to understanding to conversation. And that is what allows follow-up to feel more grounded and less reactive.
Yeah.
And here's Sabrina's story. This is a good example why the path matters. And Sabrina's in our Momentum membership, and she won't mind us sharing. So in her case, the lead magnet, the message, and the nurture path became clear. And when she did that, she actually had 14 signups in the first 2 days. The signups mattered, but the bigger lesson is what created that movement. It's not just to get more leads. And Kelsey, you talked about that earlier when we first started. It was a clear path around the lead, because the lead is not the finish line. It is the first yes.
Exactly, right? It's the first yes. And I love that because it brings the whole thing back to a real client attraction, right? Because like I said, we're always talking about client attraction and how all of these pieces fit into it, right?
That's right.
Attracting clients is not just getting someone to notice you, right? That is one of the first steps, but it's not the only step. It is helping that right person keep moving after she notices you, right? You're visible, you got her attention, it resonated. Now what, right? Now what? And that is where email can become such a strong part of the business, not because it replaces the connection, but rather it supports the connection. Right? It supports it. So actually inside our Momentum Hub membership on the 22nd of this month, we're actually starting to build out this 3-part email sequence, right? We're creating a training, and it's really focused on creating that simple buyer warming sequence you can actually use, right? We're not focusing on giant funnels, complicated tech, or another training that turns into notes that you never come back to, right? I know that we can feel that for sure.
That's right. So inside the hub, members will map the path. You guys will draft those emails and see how to set it up and track it. And the sequence again is simple. Email number 1 orientates the lead. Email number 2, we talked about it already, clarifies the problem. Email number 3 invites a reply or next step. And if you want the simple starting point now, comment email and we'll send it over to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So if you take one thing from today, guys, let it be this, right? A welcome sequence is not about becoming an email marketer. Okay. This is not your expertise. This is not what it's about. It's about taking better care of the interest your business is already creating. I want to say that again, because I think this is really important, right? It's about taking better care of the interest. So the visibility, the hand raising your business is already creating, right? Someone downloaded the free thing for a reason, right? Something about your work made her pause. The sequence is what helps her understand what to do with that moment that you created, right?
Yep. And once that path is visible, it becomes so much easier to improve. You can see where the message needs to be clear. You can see where the reply invitation belongs, and you can see what needs to be tracked. And that is when email stops feeling like a random task and really starts feeling like becoming a part of the client attraction system.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So that's actually another big takeaway, is just remembering that, again, email isn't a separate thing. It is part of the client attraction system, right? So if you want the simple 3 email starting point, just comment email and we will send it to you. All right. And if you are watching the replay, you can still comment email and we will send it over to you. No problem.
Absolutely. So thanks so much for being with us today, everyone. Yeah. Remember, the lead is not the finish. It's really the beginning of the path.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys all next Wednesday. Hope this was helpful. Take care.
Bye now.
Bye now.